Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have possibly the most beautiful figure in my collection. We have a Violet Evergarden figure by Prism Studio. This one, as soon as I saw it, I knew this was probably going to be the best Violet Evergarden figure ever made. This one is definitely going to be hard to beat. Here I'm showing you guys every side of the box, and on the back you do get a little preview of what the figure is going to look like. But let's get into it. Here is the styrofoam box. On the top, it does have a little hidden compartment that comes with a envelope, which we will get into later. Some interesting stuff in here that I've never seen in an unlicensed studio, from an unlicensed studio before. We also have a shikishi board with some beautiful artwork on there. That's also new. I really did like that one. Actually, that was pretty cool. I don't know what this is or what it says since it's all in Japanese. We have two stands, one for the coin, one for the shikishi board. And I'm usually not a fan of these coins, but I think they did a really good job carving this one. It also has a nice weight to it, which feels really good. And as you guys could hopefully see there, I have number 28 out of 588 made, so very limited piece. And inside of the envelope, this is what was kind of strange for me because it's a certificate of authenticity. However, it's unlicensed, so it's not authentic, but I'm assuming they include it so that you know that it's not a recast. But interesting, never seen that before for unlicensed studios. And then inside of the box, this part is kind of just for me so that I know how to repackage everything in case I ever have to move or if I plan on selling this one. But I'll tell you guys right now, I don't think I'm ever going to sell this one. This is going to stay in the collection forever. Here is the base, very beautifully painted. I love all the shading going on, especially on the piles of mail. I think it looks really nice. And I also love all the Easter eggs they included here, such as Violet Evergarden's suitcase and her typewriter. I think it's really cool, kind of all over the place, but it works. I like the way that everything is just chaotic, but when you put it all together, it just creates a masterpiece. But I will say, this was one of the more complicated statues for me to put together. It took me a while to figure out where some pieces go, or not so much where they go, but how to place them correctly. Like even this lamp right here, there's a specific angle you have to put it into. This piece right here, that one was the easiest one. There's just two notches on the base and you just stick it in there. This one as well, just some greenery to add to the base, and it's a big notch, so you can't miss this one. You know exactly where this one goes. But I think from here is when it starts to get a little bit more complicated, such as this piece right here. At first, I just thought, okay, we're going to stick that in right there. Easy. But when I went to place the chair, I quickly found out that that piece of mail got in the way. So I had to take it out, and I noticed that when you do place this chair, this actually goes on top of the chair to make it a little bit more stable, which I thought was very cool. But on to the next piece of the puzzle, we have various pieces of pages that are kind of just flying around the statue. That's kind of the effect that they're going for. But this one, you can kind of figure out where they go because some of these guys have notches, other ones don't. So the on the base, you kind of have to look for places that have notches versus ones that don't. This one here on the chair does have a notch, so you know that one of these go in there. And I did look at the box to figure out where some of these goes, but look at the detail, guys. I tried to zoom in here so you guys could see the text. They actually included all of this text on here. I know it's just a sticker, it's not like they wrote it, but I still thought it was a pretty cool detail. And here's where I meant where there's some of these that don't have notches. So this is just like a steel tiny rod, which goes on top of these chairs right here. These guys are free to rotate those, so you can kind of play with it, figure out how you want to display it. I again looked at the box here and tried to put it exactly how it showed on the box, but I honestly don't think it matters too much. Now moving on to the next chair, I noticed that there's two notches here, so I grabbed the chair and I tried to insert these guys like that, but something wasn't fitting right, so I turned it around and I noticed that there was a third notch that was kind of hidden, or at least I couldn't find it, and once I stuck it in there, all the pieces kind of just went into place perfectly, so that was actually a very satisfying piece to put in. So I was very proud of myself right here, but after you get in the chairs, the rest of it should be pretty straightforward. There's just two more pieces of mail that go on the chair, and then the rest of it goes on Violet Evergarden herself, which, talking about her, we'll take a look at her body sculpt now, which I did notice some issues with the paint job here with the lines here on her dress. The shoes actually look pretty good, although I did notice one of them had texturing and then the other one was kind of smooth, but still looks pretty nice. I like the shoelaces that they included there. And then on the bottom, she is sitting on a cushion, which has a notch, and that just is magnetized and goes onto the base, which looks pretty cool. But before we put her on the base, let's take some time to appreciate those mechanical hands. It's one of her biggest features, although the paint job could have been better, more metallic. Here on the top too, I did notice some whitening, but overall from a distance, once you put her on the chair and you have her on display, you won't notice that, especially once you put on Violet Evergarden's head. I did notice that with the cushion, there's a little bit of movement, but it's a pretty strong magnet, so I don't see that ever falling off. But the necklace, man, I love the necklace. Although I wish they would have used like a real jewel, something like real jewelry. That would have been a nice touch note, but they just used plastic and like a paper behind the plastic. But either way, it looks nice. But what looks perfect here, my favorite part of the statue, has to be Violet Evergarden's face, especially the hair. The way that they made her hair flow, and like it looks just like the anime, because she has a lot of scenes where her hair is flowing, and they just captured that perfectly here on this statue. Especially the ribbons on the back look nice as well. Just overall, all around, perfect head sculpt, 10 out of 10. I love it. The only issue is that it doesn't fit into the body perfectly. When you put it on, there is a little tiny bit of a gap, but again, nothing too noticeable. It's just, you guys can see it right there. There is a tiny little gap, but we're almost done with the assembly. As I mentioned, there are still some more pieces of mail that go attached to Violet Evergarden herself. So there's one that goes here, and then this last piece right here goes over on the other side. And I think there's just one final touch, which is her umbrella. It kind of just goes hanging on here. And we're done, guys. That's it. I'll let you guys enjoy some B-roll of Violet Evergarden, and I'll meet you guys at the end of the video. All right, so here's a few display options. You can display her with the Shikishi board, the edition size coin, but in my opinion, the best way to display her is going to be with the limited edition Blu-ray box set. In my opinion, they pair up very nicely, but let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below. Do you guys agree with me? Will there be another Violet Evergarden to beat this one? I personally don't think so, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.